Today's news.
Plane triggers scare.
It took searchers 4 hours to find the wreckage.
Presidential candidates converge. Well, hello, Iowa. Hello, Iowa. Slashing oil production.
Gas prices could be on the rise even more.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kathan. With the CBS World News Roundup, fighter jets caused a sonic boom that rattled homes in Washington, D.C. They were scrambled to intercept a small plane that entered restricted airspace. CBS's Jeff Pegues is near where that plane eventually crash-landed in Northern Virginia.
It was headed from a municipal airport in Tennessee to Long Island MacArthur Airport in New York, when it reversed course, later flying through restricted airspace over Washington. The military jets responded to intercept the plane around 3:20 p.m. and even deployed flares to draw attention, but the pilot was unresponsive. It wasn't until nearly 8 p.m. that search teams reached the crash site on foot. Police said no survivors were found.
This has the signatures of some sort of incapacitation.
Robert Sumwalt chairs the National Transportation Safety Board. One possible cause of the crash?
The airplane does not pressurize properly. The pilots become hypoxic. They fall asleep, as do the passengers. Meanwhile, the airplane continues.
The plane was registered to a Florida-based company owned by John and Barbara Rumpel. John Rumpel said that his daughter, 2-year-old granddaughter, her nanny, and the pilot were aboard the plane.
CBS's Robert Costa tells us Iowa was the weekend spot for Republican presidential candidates.
How's the great state of Iowa?
8 GOP hopefuls were on hand, but missing was frontrunner former President Donald Trump, who was in the Hawkeye State last week.
You can't do any of it if you don't win.
While Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who's running second in the polls, continued to take veiled swipes at Trump.
We need to dispense with the culture of losing. Ambassador Nikki Haley.
Sunday night, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley used a CNN town hall in Iowa to make her case.
It is time for us to leave the baggage of the past, the negativity to the past, and start thinking of our families.
And this week, former Vice President Mike Pence hopes to drive up his chances.
When I got time to announce come this Wednesday, I'm announcing in Iowa.
Asia correspondent Elizabeth Palmer has the latest on rising tensions between the U.S. and China. A top Chinese defense official commenting on close calls in the air and what happened Saturday, a Chinese warship crossing in front of an American destroyer in the Taiwan Strait.
General Lee didn't address the Chinese decision-making that led to the incidents, but implied the U.S. was ultimately responsible. To avoid similar encounters, he said the U.S. should steer clear the area around China. Mind your own business. But the U.S. sees routine air and sea patrols as very much its own business, where China's flexing military muscle in the Pacific. America and its allies want to underscore their position that this is international space open to everyone.
CBS's Deborah Patta has the latest on the war in Ukraine.
Russia's Ministry of Defense claiming its troops repelling a Ukrainian advance in the eastern Donetsk region. We can't verify this, and Kyiv has consistently sent mixed signals, perhaps a military tactic in itself. Across the border in Russia, a new front line has opened up. Anti-Kremlin militia fighting alongside Ukraine have stepped up attacks in the Belgorod region. The daily hardships Ukrainians have become so accustomed to now being felt by thousands of Russians who've taken refuge in a temporary shelter. We're trying to be strong, said Irina Berlakova, because we have children who give us the incentive to carry on.
Correspondent Holly Williams has more on the aftermath of a train crash in India that killed an estimated 275 people.
Families are still searching for their loved ones. A grim trawl through the morgue. This man lost his brother, newly married and with a young son. I haven't told our mother, he says. She won't be able to handle this news. My husband has not been found yet, said this woman. My husband has not been found.
In northern Afghanistan, around 60 girls were hospitalized after being poisoned at school. Police have not said who was responsible or what substance was used. It's coming up on 5 minutes after the hour. Staples store.
Well, that's today's news. Today's news. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. I guess it's all about perspective. The glass is